So the next step in my professional life was to do psychotherapy. So I set up a practice in Pasadena, and over time I began to get a lot of parents who brought their children to me with the idea that I will fix up the children and send them back to the family in better working order. But I soon discovered it was a relationship problem, and the children weren't sick and they didn't need psychotherapy. It was the relationship needed to be improved. So I took the knowledge of my experience with leaders and subordinates in business and industry, the democratic leadership, and began to teach parents, families to be more democratic in the way they function. And it wasn't very long before I realized, instead of waiting till these parents have problems and come to me, or these families, that it would be better if I could develop something that would be preventive. So I thought of the idea. I remember the day I thought about it, I knew it was a very good decision to design a training program for families, particularly parents, to help them become more effective in raising their children. And that was PET, and it didn't take very long before it just spread. It spread all over the country, and then I wrote a book called PET, and it was published in 27, I think by now 42 countries. So that just went like wildfire. The whole idea that parents could be trained and learn some skills to become more effective. So what these parents began to say was, what else can we do to have children who behave, to have children who are easy to deal with? And that's where I had to come up with some different skills, some skills that most of these parents did not have, which I'll talk more about. It then began to be a process of completely changing the way these parents dealt with their children. A revolutionary change in parenting. As a matter of fact, my program really was the first program that really dealt with focusing on the parent and what the parent does, not on the child. It's the parent who's influencing this relationship. Parents make the relationship bad. Parents are responsible for raising the kinds of children they don't like. So this was the essence of the PET program.
But the basic message that really is most important for parents is to understand what's appropriate developmentally for kids. It's developmentally appropriate for 2.5-year-olds to have temper tantrums. It's developmentally appropriate for 10-year-olds just to want to ride their bikes and get a little bit away from home. It's developmentally appropriate for a 14 or 15-year-old to be interested in sex and the opposite sex, and so forth. Those are all developmentally appropriate. And so you need to understand those and then learn how to deal appropriately with those stages. And I find that probably a high percentage, I don't know what it is, maybe 90% of the regular discipline problems that I see are cases in which the parent doesn't understand what's developmentally appropriate for the child and how to deal with it.